lonely pair of black twin girls approached a police officer and whispered 2 words into his ear, leaving him utterly shocked. But as he began his investigation, he discovered much more at stake than he had ever imagined. Who were these mysterious twins, and how could those 2 words change the officer's life forever? Let's delve into this story together. In the late afternoon, sunlight stretched across the highway, casting flickering shadows on the pavement. Officer Liam adjusted his hat and squinted against the bright light. Standing beside him was Alex Turner, his longtime partner. Together, they were conducting vehicle checks at a temporary checkpoint where cars moved slowly in the golden light of the fading day. The line of cars passed by in an orderly fashion, and the atmosphere felt calm, but Liam always remained vigilant. Over 15 years on the force had honed his intuition, allowing him to sense immediately if something was off. The heavy engine of a large truck suddenly roared from a distance, breaking Liam's thoughts. He raised his hand, signaling the truck to stop. The massive vehicle gradually slowed down, finally coming to a halt with a hissing brake and a light puff of diesel smoke from its exhaust. The metal surface of the truck gleamed under the late afternoon sun. Looking at it, Liam had an uneasy feeling, though he couldn't pinpoint why. Alex also noticed and stood ready. Liam walked up to the driver's side window, where a rugged, rough-looking man with a scruffy beard and a tense expression sat. The driver, Mark Robber, seemed to be in his early 30s, keeping both hands on the wheel carefully as if trying to appear calm. His actions seemed rehearsed, too natural yet slightly contrived. With Alex supporting him from behind, Mark slowly handed over his paperwork. However, his eyes quickly glanced toward the passenger seat before he gave them to Liam. It was as if something drew Liam's attention toward the passenger seat. When he looked into the truck's cabin, he saw 2 young girls sitting quietly inside. They were twins, around 10 years old, with soft curly hair and faces marked by worry. Emma and Lily sat still on the seat, trying to make themselves small, their dark eyes cast downward as if hiding their presence. Liam sensed that something was very wrong. The girls' eyes betrayed a deep-seated fear. Sitting close together, they were rigid, their small hands tightly clasped. Emma looked down, avoiding eye contact, while Lily trembled, her tiny shoulders shrinking with each unexpected sound. Though it was only a glance, Liam could feel the twins' anxiety and unease. Something was not right in this situation. A strange tension filled the confined space of the truck's cabin. Liam exchanged a subtle, meaningful nod with Alex, who immediately understood. Cautiously stepping back to start checking the documents Mark had handed over. Meanwhile, Liam walked slowly around the front of the truck, each step seeming to absorb some of the tension brewing inside him. He approached the passenger side window, leaned down and gently tapped on the glass. This time, Emma lifted her head slightly, her gaze meeting Liam's for a fleeting moment. Within those eyes, Liam saw an unmistakable, indescribable fear. It wasn't the natural fear of a child. It was the fear of someone trying to escape something terrible beyond their control. Keeping his face calm, Liam offered a reassuring smile. He leaned down a bit more, closer to their eye level, to avoid appearing intimidating. "Hello, sweetheart," he said in a gentle, warm tone. "I'm Officer Liam, but you can call me Liam if you'd like. Could you tell me your names?" Emma and Lily didn't respond, only looking at each other and then down at their feet. Their small hands remained tightly clasped together. Looking closer, Liam noticed that the girls' shoes were old, dusty, and scuffed. A tiny, worn-out backpack lay at Lily's feet, as if they had traveled a long distance. Both of them looked so fragile and tired. It was clear that these weren't typical children on a family road trip. Liam's instincts urged him to act. Though he tried to keep his calm, his heart pounded with concern for Emma and Lily's safety. He kept his voice gentle. "It's okay. You don't need to be afraid. Could you tell me what's going on?" He tried not to appear intimidating, hoping to build trust with the 2 children. Emma and Lily glanced at each other as if consulting each other silently. After a moment of silence, Emma finally gave a slight nod while Lily bit her lip, her eyes full of fear and caution. After a few moments of reassurance, Liam asked, "Was there something that's making you feel worried?" Emma glanced around once more, ensuring no one else could hear, then looked down and whispered just softly enough for Liam to hear. "There's poison." The word poison rang out like a warning, and Liam instantly knew this wasn't an ordinary situation. Emma and Lily's eyes shone with a profound fear rarely seen in children. From his experience, Liam knew they were trying to convey a real and urgent danger. He felt certain that this was no childish misunderstanding. It might very well be a serious warning about a threat inside the truck. He exchanged a look with Alex, silently agreeing that they would need to conduct a thorough inspection of the vehicle and find out why these two children were here in such a precarious and unusual setting. The late afternoon slowly gave way to the golden hour, and a strong sense of duty surged within Liam. He knew this wasn't going to be a routine check. Liam and Alex began carefully inspecting every corner of the cabin, from the glove compartment to the back storage area, but everything appeared normal. Mark Robber, the driver, started to look uneasy, his eyes darting around as if hoping to avoid detection. His eyes flashed with tension, especially when Liam began checking the tire area, a common hiding spot used by smugglers for concealing illegal goods. Liam noticed some irregularities around the rear left tire, faint scratches, and signs of recent tampering. "Let's check the tire thoroughly," Liam whispered to Alex, his eyes still fixed on the driver. The driver immediately stiffened, his hands clenching into fists, and beads of sweat began forming on his forehead. Alex switched on his flashlight, examining every part of the tire's rim closely. "This rim looks like it's been removed and reattached multiple times," Alex remarked. His words seemed to increase the driver's anxiety, and he started looking around as if searching for a way to escape. Without hesitation, Liam and Alex proceeded with the inspection. Alex pulled out a tire removal tool from the patrol car and began carefully loosening each lug nut. The metallic clicks echoed in the quiet atmosphere, heightening the tension. Finally, Alex removed the tire, exposing an empty cavity inside. Both Liam and Alex were stunned to see several white packages carefully wrapped in tape and plastic, neatly concealed within the tire compartment. The packages of drugs were stacked together, filling the entire space inside the tire, indicating this wasn't the driver's first attempt at such a sophisticated smuggling method. Liam held up one of the packages, locking eyes with the driver. The man's face instantly turned pale, and he began to sweat even more. I don't know anything about this. It's not mine," he stammered. Liam didn't buy it. "Then perhaps you could explain why these packages are in your tire?" Alex asked. With no escape, Mark lowered his head in silence, realizing there was no point in denying it. "This isn't over," Liam thought as he turned back to the two girls. Something told him that this was only the beginning. The sun had completely set, leaving behind a sky tinged with navy blue and faint streaks of orange. The flashing lights of the police cruisers reflected off the metal surfaces of the truck, giving the entire scene an eerie glow. Officer Liam and Alex had been joined by additional officers who had secured the area, while crime scene investigators moved in to examine the hidden stash of drugs and the biohazard-marked can. Emma and Lily, still sitting in the truck's cabin, appeared even more exhausted than before. Their small hands remained tightly clasped, holding onto each other like they were each other's last lifeline. Despite their silence, Liam could feel the weight of their unspoken words pressing down on him, the whispered warning. "There's poison," echoed in his mind. What had these two little girls witnessed, and what danger still lingered? He needed answers. Liam stepped closer to the truck, crouching near the open passenger side door. He kept his voice calm and steady. "Emma, Lily, I need you to trust me. You said something about poison. Can you tell me more?" Lily's lip quivered, and she pressed herself even closer to her sister. Emma hesitated, her dark eyes darting around as if making sure no one else could hear her, before finally locking onto Liam's. "It's in the crates," she whispered, barely audible. "Not just drugs, the bad kind of poison." Liam's stomach tightened. He exchanged a sharp glance with Alex, who had already begun making arrangements over the radio. "Hazmat team needs to analyze those canisters immediately," Alex muttered. Liam nodded. "We need a full chemical analysis, potential biohazard threat confirmed." Mark Robber, the truck driver, sat handcuffed on the ground near the patrol car, his body tense and his eyes darting from officer to officer. The man was visibly panicked now, no longer the defiant figure from earlier. He knew he was caught, and he knew the situation was getting worse by the second. Liam turned to face him. "Mark, this isn't just a drug bust anymore. You are transporting hazardous materials. That's a federal crime." He let the words sink in before pressing further. "Who gave you this shipment?" Mark exhaled sharply. "Look, I was just the driver. They don't tell me what's in the cargo, I swear." Liam narrowed his eyes. "Then why were these girls with you? Who do they belong to?" Mark hesitated. "They were part of the cargo," he admitted finally, his voice barely above a whisper. Alex clenched his fists. "You were trafficking them?" Mark shook his head violently. "No, not like that. I was told to keep an eye on them. Make sure they stayed quiet." Liam's heart pounded. "Quiet for what?" Mark licked his lips, his gaze flickering toward the girls before he sighed. They were supposed to be delivered with the shipment. Liam felt his pulse quicken. This wasn't just about drugs or illegal chemicals. These girls were meant to be part of something much worse. Rebecca, their dispatch officer, came through the radio. Liam, Alex, we have a situation. I ran a background check on Mark Robber. He has ties to a known trafficking ring suspected of moving illegal chemicals and humans. The feds have been tracking them for months. Liam inhaled sharply. Then we just uncovered something big. Alex ran a hand through his hair, glancing at the truck's cargo. We need to check every inch of this shipment. If they were smuggling people with these materials, there's no telling what else is in there. Liam turned back to Emma and Lily, his voice softer now. Is there anyone else? More kids? Emma hesitated, then shook her head. Not with us. Lily, however, glanced down, looking conflicted. But they took others before, she finally said, her voice so soft it was nearly swallowed by the chaos around them. Liam's breath caught in his throat. Where? Lily shook her head. I don't know. They never told us. Alex clenched his jaw. We need to get them to a safe house immediately. If someone was expecting these girls to arrive, they'll be looking for them. Liam nodded. Agreed. But first, we need more answers. He turned back to Mark. Who were you delivering them to? Mark swallowed hard. There's a drop happening tomorrow night, an abandoned factory on the outskirts of town. Liam's grip tightened around his radio. Then that's where we'll be. He turned back to Emma and Lily, offering them a reassuring smile. We're going to make sure you're safe, I promise. But deep down, Liam knew this was far from over. In fact, it had just begun. The drive back to headquarters was quiet, save for the hum of the engine. Emma and Lily sat in the back seat of the patrol car wrapped in warm blankets, their eyes heavy with exhaustion. Liam glanced at them in the rearview mirror. What horrors had they seen? What had they endured? Upon arrival at the station, Child Services had already been called in. Angela Hayes, a specialist in handling child trafficking victims, stood at the entrance, waiting for them. Her calm and professional demeanor reassured Liam that the girls would be safe, at least for now. They'll be in good hands, Angela assured him as she crouched down to the girls' level. Emma, Lily, I'm here to help you. Emma hesitated before gripping Liam's sleeve. Will we see you again? Liam crouched down beside her. I'll be checking in on you, I promise. As the girls were led away, Liam exhaled slowly. He had done his part for them tonight, but his mind was already shifting toward the bigger picture. The factory drop Mark had mentioned, that was their next move. Rebecca approached with a grim expression. We've got surveillance set up near the factory. There's already movement. Liam exchanged a knowing glance with Alex. Then we don't wait, we take them down. Tomorrow night, everything would come to a head. And Liam had no intention of letting anyone slip through the cracks. The night air was thick with tension as Officer Liam and Alex drove toward the outskirts of town, their unmarked vehicle blending into the darkness. The abandoned factory loomed ahead, its rusting metal beams and shattered windows standing as a silent testament to a forgotten era. But tonight, it was far from abandoned. Rebecca's voice crackled through the radio. Surveillance confirms multiple vehicles arriving in the last hour. No visible security on the perimeter, but thermal scans indicate at least 10 individuals inside. Liam gripped the wheel tighter. Copy that. We move in silence and fast. Alex checked his firearm. You think they have more kids in there? Liam exhaled slowly. I don't know, but we're about to find out. They pulled into a concealed position behind an old warehouse adjacent to the factory. Other units were stationed nearby waiting for this signal. The plan was clear. Assess, infiltrate, and neutralize any threats while ensuring any victims were safely recovered. Liam signaled to the team and they moved in. The crunch of gravel beneath their boots was muffled by the distant hum of machinery inside the factory. Someone was operating something in there. Rebecca's voice came through again. We've intercepted a call. There's movement. They're preparing to transport another shipment. We don't have much time. Liam exchanged a look with Alex. Let's go. Inside the factory, the air was thick with the acrid scent of chemicals and burning rubber. Large crates lined the walls, some bearing foreign labels, others completely unmarked. At the far end of the vast space, a group of men gathered around a loading dock, engaged in hushed conversation. In the center, Elliot Grayson, the suspected ringleader, stood with a clipboard in hand, barking orders. Liam pressed his earpiece. Visual on Grayson. He's leading the operation? Alex studied the layout. We need to take him alive. Liam nodded. Let's split up. I'll take the west side, you cover the exit. Moving with precision, they closed in. As Liam advanced, he caught sight of another disturbing element. Cages. Small ones, barely large enough for an adult to crouch in. His pulse quickened. If these had been used to transport children, they were dealing with something far worse than they had imagined. Alex's voice came through. "I count 5 guards." Armed, Liam steadied his breath. "On my mark." With swift efficiency, the tactical team moved in. The first 2 guards barely had time to react before being subdued. A third turned, reaching for his weapon, but Alex tackled him to the ground, rendering him unconscious in seconds. The remaining men scattered, but they didn't get far. Grayson, however, wasn't among them. Liam scanned the area. "Where the hell is he?" Rebecca's voice rang through urgently. "He's on the move. Rear entrance." Liam sprinted toward the exit, catching a glimpse of Grayson disappearing through a metal door. He pushed forward, the sound of his boots pounding against the concrete as he pursued. Bursting through the doorway, he found himself in a dimly lit corridor leading to a loading dock. Grayson was already at the end, scrambling to unlock a black SUV. Liam didn't hesitate. "Freeze!" Grayson turned, panic flashing in his eyes before he raised his hands in mock surrender. "You have no idea what you're interfering with." Liam kept his gun trained. "Try me." Grayson smirked. "This operation doesn't end with me. You shut this down, another will take its place." Liam stepped closer. "Not if we tear it out from the roots." Before Grayson could make another move, Alex appeared behind him, gun raised. "Game over!" Grayson's smirk faded as handcuffs clicked around his wrists. Back inside the factory, officers secured the area. The crates were being examined, their contents documented. Inside, they found more biohazardous materials, confirming their worst fears. This operation wasn't just about drugs or human trafficking. It was something far more dangerous. Rebecca arrived at the scene, her face pale. "We just got word from the lab. Those chemical samples? They aren't just narcotics. Some of these compounds are weaponized." Liam's stomach sank. They were planning something bigger. Alex crossed his arms. "Then we need to find out who was funding this." Liam turned back to Grayson, who sat on the ground, cuffed and surrounded by officers. "Start talking." Grayson chuckled. "I think I'll wait for my lawyer." Liam narrowed his eyes. "That's fine. But by the time they get here, you'll already be old news." He turned to Rebecca. "Get the feds involved. This just became a national security threat." Rebecca nodded. "Already on it." As dawn broke over the city, Liam knew one thing for certain. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of an even deeper conspiracy. And they were far from finished. The morning news was already covering the raid by the time Liam and Alex returned to headquarters. The headlines flashed across the screen. "Police intercept major human and chemical trafficking operation." Rebecca handed Liam a file. "Interpol just flagged Grayson. He's connected to several international arms dealers." Liam flipped through the pages. "Which means he's not the top of the chain." Alex stretched his arms. "We take down one, another pops up." Rebecca smirked. "Good thing we don't quit." Liam exhaled. Let's see how deep this goes. The case was far from over. The city skyline was still cloaked in the soft haze of dawn when Liam, Alex, and Rebecca regrouped at headquarters. The night's raid had uncovered more than they had anticipated. Bioweapons, human trafficking, and a network that extended far beyond their jurisdiction. The arrest of Elliot Grayson had been a critical breakthrough, but Liam knew it was just the tip of the iceberg. Rebecca tapped away at her laptop, the glow of multiple monitors reflecting in her tired eyes. Interpol just confirmed Grayson's involvement with an international syndicate. They've been monitoring transactions that suggest he wasn't just moving chemical weapons, he was selling them to the highest bidder. Liam rubbed his temples. "So, who's on the receiving end?" Rebecca clicked through a few screens. "That's where things get interesting. Several flagged accounts link back to shell corporations operating out of Eastern Europe and the Middle East. But there's a local connection, too. One of the buyers is registered under a name we've seen before." Alex leaned in. "Who?" Rebecca turned the screen towards them. "Jonathan Hale." Liam tensed. The name sent a ripple of unease through the room. Jonathan Hale was a powerful businessman with deep political ties, someone who had always managed to stay one step ahead of the law. Rumors swirled around his dealings, but nothing had ever stuck. "He's funding this?" Alex asked, disbelief in his voice. Rebecca nodded. "Not just funding it. He's directing it. Every major deal in the last 6 months traces back to his network." Liam clenched his fists. "And we take him down." By mid-morning, the team had assembled in the briefing room. The operation against Hale would require precision. He wasn't just another criminal. He was a man with influence and resources. Rebecca pulled up an aerial view of Hale's estate. We need evidence linking him directly to the trafficking ring. According to surveillance, he keeps a private security detail and rarely leaves his compound. Alex crossed his arms. So we bring the fight to him. Liam nodded. But we can't afford any mistakes. We need a way in. Rebecca smirked. Already working on it. Hale has a gala event tomorrow night. If we can get someone inside, we might be able to access his office. Liam considered the risks. It's too dangerous. If he catches wind of us, we don't have a choice, Rebecca cut in. Hale is careful. This might be the only opening we get. Alex cracked his knuckles. Then let's suit up. The night of the gala arrived sooner than expected. Dressed in an immaculate tuxedo, Liam adjusted his cufflinks as he stepped out of the car. The venue was an extravagant mansion on the city's outskirts, the entrance lined with luxury vehicles and flashing cameras. Inside, dignitaries and high-profile guests mingled, their laughter and clinking glasses echoing through the hall. Rebecca's voice came through his earpiece. You're in. Security is tight, but I've managed to access the guest list. Your alias is confirmed. Liam grabbed a glass of champagne from a passing waiter, scanning the room for Hale. He spotted him near the grand staircase, engaged in conversation with a group of foreign investors. Alex, disguised as a security consultant, stood near the perimeter, keeping an eye out for any suspicious movements. I see him, he murmured. What's the plan? Rebecca's voice came through. Hale's office is on the second floor. There's a keycard entry system, but I've overridden it. You'll have 3 minutes once you're inside. Liam moved subtly through the crowd, keeping his posture relaxed. Slipping away unnoticed, he ascended the staircase and made his way toward Hale's office. A discreet swipe of the access card and the lock disengaged with a quiet beep. He slipped inside, closing the door behind him. The office was lavish, filled with expensive artwork and bookshelves lined with leather-bound volumes. But Liam wasn't here for the decor. He moved straight to the desk, booting up Hale's computer. Rebecca guided him. Check his encrypted files. Look for recent transactions. Liam scrolled through the records, his eyes narrowing as he spotted familiar names. Grayson, offshore accounts, and coded payments. Then he found what they needed. Documents detailing shipments, including references to the chemical compounds recovered at the factory. This is it, Liam whispered. He copied the files onto a flash drive. Just as he finished, the door handle turned. Liam barely had time to react before a guard entered. The man froze, reaching for his weapon. Liam moved first. A swift punch to the gut knocked the air from the guard's lungs, followed by a well-placed elbow to the jaw. The man crumpled before he could sound an alarm. Liam dragged him into the corner, making sure he was out cold. Time to go, Rebecca urged. Liam slipped back into the crowd, returning to the gala floor as if nothing had happened. He met Alex's gaze across the room, giving a slight nod. They had what they needed. Back at headquarters, Rebecca decrypted the files. The evidence was damning. Hale was orchestrating international arms and chemical trades, hiding behind layers of corporate obscurity. Liam exhaled. We take this to the feds? Rebecca nodded. It's enough to issue an arrest warrant. But as they prepared to move forward, an alert flashed on Rebecca's screen. She paled. Someone's wiping the servers. They know. Liam clenched his jaw. Then we move now. The game had changed, and there was no turning back. The urgency in Rebecca's voice sent a chill through the room. They're wiping everything. We're losing our evidence. Liam clenched his jaw. The fact that someone was actively covering their tracks meant only one thing. Hale knew they were onto him. Alex was already moving. If they wipe those servers completely, we lose our case. Rebecca's fingers flew across her keyboard. I'm trying to isolate the data before it's erased, but they're good. Whoever's doing this is an expert. Liam took a deep breath. Can you track where the signal's coming from? Rebecca's screen flickered as she ran a trace. It's bouncing off multiple locations, but... Her eyes widened. Got it. It's coming from inside Hale's private network. Liam exchanged a look with Alex. Then he's panicking, Alex nodded, and desperate people make mistakes. Liam grabbed his jacket. We're moving. If he knows we have enough to take him down, he might try to disappear. Rebecca continued working as they geared up. I'll keep feeding you intel. Just don't get yourselves killed. The drive to Hale's estate was tense. Liam could feel the weight of what was about to happen. They weren't just taking down a criminal enterprise. They were dismantling a network that had operated in the shadows for years. As they approached the estate, Rebecca's voice came through the earpiece. Security is on high alert. Cameras are shifting positions and there's increased movement near the exits. He's running, Alex muttered. He knows we're coming. Liam tightened his grip on the wheel. Then let's make sure he doesn't get far. They parked a safe distance away, using the tree line for cover. Hale's estate was heavily guarded, but they had expected that. Rebecca had managed to override the outer perimeter's security feeds, giving them a window of opportunity. Liam signaled to Alex and they moved in, sticking to the shadows. The back entrance was guarded by 2 men, but a well-placed distraction, a timed explosion of a nearby transformer, drew them away just long enough for Liam and Alex to slip inside. The interior of the estate was eerily silent. The opulence of the place clashed with the darkness of what they knew had been orchestrated from within its walls. Rebecca's voice whispered through their earpieces. "He's in his office, 3rd floor. But he's not alone." Liam motioned for Alex to follow. They ascended the staircase, every step deliberate. As they reached the 3rd floor, they heard voices. Hale's voice, along with another man. Liam pressed against the wall, listening. "I don't care how much it costs," Hale was saying. "Make sure the shipment reaches its destination. If we lose this deal, we lose everything." Alex met Liam's eyes. "We take him now?" Liam nodded. "On my mark." They moved swiftly. Liam kicked open the door, gun raised. "Hands where I can see them." Hale and the man beside him, a figure they recognized from surveillance as one of his chief enforcers, froze. But Hale wasn't the type to surrender easily. "I was wondering when you'd show up," Hale said, slowly raising his hands. "You really think you can stop this?" Liam stepped forward. "It's already stopped." The enforcer reached for a weapon, but Alex was faster. A single shot to the shoulder sent him to the ground, groaning in pain. Hale's expression remained composed, but there was a flicker of unease in his eyes. "You think taking me in changes anything? You don't understand how deep this goes." Liam ignored him, pulling out his cuffs. "You're done, Hale." Just as he moved to restrain him, a sudden explosion rocked the estate. Rebecca's voice came through in a panic. "Liam, get out of there! Someone just triggered the failsafe." Smoke filled the hallway as alarms blared. Hale took advantage of the moment, lunging for a hidden weapon beneath his desk. Liam reacted instinctively, knocking the gun aside before delivering a hard punch that sent Hale sprawling. Alex grabbed the wounded enforcer, dragging him toward the exit. "We need to move." Liam secured Hale, forcing him to his feet. "You're coming with us." The building was shaking, the fire spreading rapidly. Whatever fail-safe had been triggered, it was designed to destroy everything. As they reached the front entrance, the security team that had abandoned their posts returned, weapons drawn. Alex cursed. "Not good." Rebecca's voice rang through. "I've called him back up, but you're on your own for now." Liam assessed the situation. They were outnumbered and there was no way out, except through them. "Then we fight," Liam said, raising his weapon. The standoff lasted only seconds before the first shot was fired. The firefight was intense, but Liam and Alex moved with precision, taking down guards one by one as they pushed toward the exit. Hale struggled against Liam's grip, but there was nowhere left to run. Finally, backup arrived. A fleet of unmarked vehicles swarmed the estate, federal agents pouring out to secure the scene. Liam shoved Hale toward them. "Jonathan Hale, you're under arrest." The billionaire glared at him. "You don't get it, do you? There will always be another me." Liam stared him down. "Not if we have anything to say about it." As the flames consumed Hale's empire, Liam knew this was a victory. But it wasn't the end. Rebecca confirmed it moments later. "Interpol just flagged another operation linked to Hale's network. This isn't over." Liam exhaled, watching the sunrise over the ruined estate. "Then we keep going." The battle wasn't over, but for now, they had won a crucial fight. The urgency in Rebecca's voice sent a chill through the room. "They're wiping everything. We're losing our evidence." Liam clenched his jaw. The fact that someone was actively covering their tracks meant only one thing. Hale knew they were onto him. Alex was already moving. "If they wipe those servers completely, we lose our case." Rebecca's fingers flew across her keyboard. "I'm trying to isolate the data before it's erased, but they're good. Whoever's doing this is an expert." Liam took a deep breath. "Can you track where the signal's coming from?" Rebecca's screen flickered as she ran a trace. "It's bouncing off multiple locations, but..." Her eyes widened. "Got it. It's coming from inside Hale's private network." Liam exchanged a look with Alex. "Then he's panicking," Alex nodded, "and desperate people make mistakes." Liam grabbed his jacket. "We're moving. If he knows we have enough to take him down, he might try to disappear." Rebecca continued working as they geared up. "I'll keep feeding you intel. Just don't get yourselves killed." The drive to Hale's estate was tense. Liam could feel the weight of what was about to happen. They weren't just taking down a criminal enterprise. They were dismantling a network that had operated in the shadows for years. As they approached the estate, Rebecca's voice came through the earpiece. "Security is on high alert. Cameras are shifting positions and there's increased movement near the exits." "He's running," Alex muttered. "He knows we're coming." Liam tightened his grip on the wheel. Then let's make sure he doesn't get far. They parked a safe distance away, using the tree line for cover. Hale's estate was heavily guarded, but they had expected that. Rebecca had managed to override the outer perimeter's security feeds, giving them a window of opportunity. Liam signaled to Alex and they moved in, sticking to the shadows. The back entrance was guarded by 2 men, but a well-placed distraction, a timed explosion of a nearby transformer, drew them away just long enough for Liam and Alex to slip inside. The interior of the estate was eerily silent. The opulence of the place clashed with the darkness of what they knew had been orchestrated from within its walls. Rebecca's voice whispered through their earpieces. He's in his office, 3rd floor. But he's not alone. Liam motioned for Alex to follow. They ascended the staircase, every step deliberate. As they reached the 3rd floor, they heard voices. Hale's voice, along with another man. Liam pressed against the wall, listening. I don't care how much it costs, Hale was saying. Make sure the shipment reaches its destination. If we lose this deal, we lose everything. Alex met Liam's eyes. We take him now? Liam nodded. On my mark. They moved swiftly. Liam kicked open the door, gun raised. Hands where I can see them. Hale and the man beside him, a figure they recognized from surveillance as one of his chief enforcers, froze. But Hale wasn't the type to surrender easily. I was wondering when you'd show up, Hale said, slowly raising his hands. You really think you can stop this? Liam stepped forward. It's already stopped. The enforcer reached for a weapon, but Alex was faster. A single shot to the shoulder sent him to the ground, groaning in pain. Hale's expression remained composed, but there was a flicker of unease in his eyes. You think taking me in changes anything? You don't understand how deep this goes. Liam ignored him, pulling out his cuffs. You're done, Hale. Just as he moved to restrain him, a sudden explosion rocked the estate. Rebecca's voice came through in a panic. Liam, get out of there! Someone just triggered the failsafe. Smoke filled the hallway as alarms blared. Hale took advantage of the moment, lunging for a hidden weapon beneath his desk. Liam reacted instinctively, knocking the gun aside before delivering a hard punch that sent Hale sprawling. Alex grabbed the wounded enforcer, dragging him toward the exit. We need to move! Liam secured Hale, forcing him to his feet. You're coming with us. The building was shaking, the fire spreading rapidly. Whatever fail-safe had been triggered, it was designed to destroy everything. As they reached the front entrance, the security team that had abandoned their posts returned, weapons drawn. Alex cursed. Not good. Rebecca's voice rang through. I've called him back up, but you're on your own for now. Liam assessed the situation. They were outnumbered and there was no way out, except through them. Then we fight, Liam said, raising his weapon. The standoff lasted only seconds before the first shot was fired. The firefight was intense, but Liam and Alex moved with precision, taking down guards one by one as they pushed toward the exit. Hale struggled against Liam's grip, but there was nowhere left to run. Finally, backup arrived. A fleet of unmarked vehicles swarmed the estate, federal agents pouring out to secure the scene. Liam shoved Hale toward them. Jonathan Hale, you're under arrest. The billionaire glared at him. You don't get it, do you? There will always be another me. Liam stared him down. Not if we have anything to say about it. As the flames consumed Hale's empire, Liam knew this was a victory. But it wasn't the end. Rebecca confirmed it moments later. Interpol just flagged another operation linked to Hale's network. This isn't over. Liam exhaled, watching the sunrise over the ruined estate. Then we keep going. The battle wasn't over, but for now, they had won a crucial fight. The underground facility was in chaos. Alarms blared through the corridors, red warning lights flashing with a rhythmic pulse, casting ominous shadows along the walls. Liam, Alex, and the tactical team moved swiftly through the labyrinthine passages, their weapons drawn, their senses razor-sharp. The air was thick with tension, the weight of the mission pressing down on them. Rebecca's voice crackled through their earpieces. Liam, I'm picking up massive security shifts. They know you're here, and they're not playing games. Movement detected on every floor. Be ready for anything. Liam wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead. Copy that. We stick to the plan, no hesitation. Alex checked his weapon. We get the data, shut them down, and get out. Simple? Liam smirked. Yeah, simple. The team navigated through the facility, taking down guards with silent efficiency. Each step forward brought them closer to the control room, where the core data files were housed. Every corner held potential danger, every hallway a possible ambush. Rebecca's voice guided them. You're nearing the server room, but be careful, security has been rerouted. You're walking into a trap. Liam clenched his jaw. Not if we spring it first. They reached the server room and took their positions. Liam signaled Alex, who planted a controlled charge on the door's locking mechanism. A soft beep, a burst of sparks, and the lock disengaged. Liam kicked the door open. Inside, several technicians scrambled to shut down terminals, frantically typing in commands. A man in a suit, exuding authority, stood at the head of the room, arms crossed. "You're too late," he said calmly. "Everything important is already gone." Liam aimed his weapon. "We'll see about that." Rebecca's voice came through. "Liam, they've initiated a full system wipe. You need to stop it now." Liam moved to a terminal connecting Rebecca's override device. "Do your thing," the man in the suit smirked. "Do you really think you can stop this operation?" "We're bigger than you. We're everywhere." Liam didn't flinch. "Then we'll burn it down one piece at a time." Gunfire erupted as reinforcements stormed the room. The tactical team engaged, bullets flying across the confined space. Alex took cover behind a server rack, returning fire with precise shots. "Rebecca, we need that data," Liam shouted over the chaos. "Almost there. Hold him off." Liam reloaded, taking down an approaching guard. Every second counted. The fate of the mission hung in the balance. Finally, Rebecca's voice rang through. "Got it. Data secured." Liam yanked the device free. "Time to go." As they moved toward the exit, explosions rocked the facility. The enemy had activated a failsafe, determined to erase all evidence. Smoke and fire spread through the corridors, the structure shaking with each detonation. At the final checkpoint, a figure emerged from the shadows. Vincent Carr, Hale's second in command, standing with his last line of defense. His gun was drawn, his expression unreadable. "You think this is over?" Carr sneered. "You have no idea what's coming." Liam didn't hesitate. "We know enough." The final battle erupted. Gunfire, smoke, chaos. Liam and Alex fought with precision, cutting through the opposition with relentless force. One by one, Carr's men fell. Only Carr remained, wounded but still defiant. Carr chuckled, blood trickling from his lip. "You may have won this battle, but you'll never win the war." Liam stepped forward, leveling his gun. "Watch us." One final shot. Carr fell. The team burst into the open air as the facility collapsed behind them. Rebecca's voice came through, relief evident. "You did it." Liam watched the flames consume what remained of the operation. He held up the stolen drive. "This isn't over yet, but we won tonight." Alex clapped a hand on his shoulder. "Damn right." The mission was complete, but the war raged on. As they drove back to headquarters, the adrenaline still coursed through their veins. Liam glanced at the drive in his hands, knowing that within it lay the key to taking down the last remnants of Hale's operation. But there were still questions unanswered. Who was behind this on a larger scale? Who had funded this entire network? Rebecca's voice broke through the comms again. "Liam, I've been analyzing the data. There are offshore accounts, coded messages." "This goes deeper than we thought." Liam frowned. "How deep?" Rebecca hesitated before responding. "Deep enough that we might not be dealing with just a criminal syndicate. We're looking at something with political backing." Alex exhaled. "You mean government involvement?" Rebecca sighed. "Possibly. There's a name that keeps coming up, one we haven't heard before." Liam's fingers tightened around the steering wheel. "Who?" Rebecca took a deep breath. "A senator, a high-ranking official. This isn't just about money anymore." Liam exchanged a look with Alex. "Then we take this fight to the next level." The war wasn't just with criminals anymore. It had infiltrated the highest echelons of power, and Liam wasn't about to back down. As dawn broke over the city, the team prepared for their next move. The battle at the facility had been a victory, but it was just the beginning of a much larger war. Liam stared at the horizon, determination hardening in his gaze. "We're not done yet." Rebecca's voice held a mix of exhaustion and resolve. "No, but we're ready." Alex cracked his knuckles. "Let's bring them down." The fight wasn't over, and they were just getting started. The end. For now.